What's shaking AC?
Have you been practicing that all day?
No. I'm just playing around with some microphones. I got so many of them. I just feel like the necessity to like just almost put it in my mouth like radio announcers do.
Are we going to get t-shirts?
Yeah. Do you want t-shirts?
Yeah, the front. Who told us we should do that? Someone told us that we should do that. And it'd be like, well, I think it was Megan and that whole, all that going on LinkedIn. So like it'd be on the front, it'd be like, yo, what's shaking AC? And then on the back, maybe it says, go be awesome.
Yeah. And we can release a lineup of bobbleheads.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Those will go over well. I wonder, can you have like two of them? Like the Andrew bobblehead?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I wanted to say something to you. You recently, well, a little while ago, shared with me that you are doing an internal podcast for your franchisees, which I think is so awesome. And inspired by that, one of the AC roundtables, Heidi Morrissey's doing them for her kitchen tune-up franchisees, her toonies. And so you wanted to start this to help your franchisees with just little tidbits and tips and things that would help them be more productive or better with their numbers or inspired or whatever that is. And one of the ones I recently heard was about mentoring. And I really liked how you had the 3 categories. I thought we should maybe share that.
Okay.
With our giant audience. What do you think?
I will start then. Shall I begin?
Okay. You may. Okay. Yeah. Are you?
Okay. So I believe. Pardon me. 3. Yeah. So I believe that every person should have 3 mentors. Okay. And they all are at a different level in life. So I'm going to go from macro down to micro. All right. So the first one, a macro mentor. This is somebody who, for all intents and purposes, is kind of unreachable. Somebody like a Steve Jobs or a Warren Buffett, or somebody that, maybe a celebrity, may not be even alive anymore, maybe a religious figure, Dalai Lama, the Pope, Martin Luther King. Like, it could be anyone, but you're following their life and their biography to see how they overcome different hurdles and struggles and how they made the change that they set out to make. So you can sort of guide and structure your own path in the right direction.
Okay. Number 1. So it might be somebody that you listen to on a podcast, like you said, or
like us.
Right. Like, I hope that everyone knows that was a joke. Anyway.
It was a total joke.
Number 2
is somebody who is reachable, but maybe further along in their journey than you. Okay. So sometimes this is a parent. This can be a supervisor at your work. This could be maybe somebody within the industry. It could be a coach. It could be, somebody who you can talk to and get advice from. They've been through the struggles, taken the road less traveled by, and they're going to help you.
Okay. So
that was a Robert Frost reference, by the way. The poet in me is coming out.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, so number 2 is a little bit less or a little bit more reachable, but also that person would be somebody that you would probably look up to and be happy to get that time. Okay, number 3.
Okay, and number 3 on the most micro level is somebody who is in the exact same position as you. Like in whatever you're struggling with, whether it's work or family life or whatever, they're going through the same struggles. You guys are equals. You can, emerging franchisors with other emerging franchisors. This is a type of mentorship, right? Fostering that community, because you're both able to handle the struggle together. You may not know how to get through it. You can draw on your various experiences, and you have each other as a support mechanism. Mm-hmm. Bippity boppity boop.
Done. Done. Okay. So what are your thoughts? Okay. Well, yeah. So actually, just that third one, let's just say, would that be like a peer performance group or a mastermind or that kind of thing generally?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit then about like sort of accountability. Like you could see, like, you could be like, I have a mentor, but like how often, obviously the most macro one, I shouldn't say obviously, I guess you could listen to their content every week or whatever, but let's talk more about the middle one. I'm kind of curious what you think, like, how do you find that person, or how do you ask them? How do you know if they're going to be a fit, and how often do you see them? Talk about that.
Yeah. That's actually probably the most difficult one to create a relationship with, because one is unreachable and the other one is for more or less like your friend, right?
Well, I'm going there.
Yeah. So this one, oftentimes these develop naturally. You end up talking with somebody, or you're part of a similar group or whatever, and you just start asking them advice. And everyone, I think, has a different style on how to tackle this. But the style that I prefer to tackle when I go to my mentor, or when I look for people to come to me for mentorship, is kind of like, okay, I have a problem. I don't know how to solve it. Let me list out all the issues with the problem. Let me go find some potential solutions, list out the research on that. Let me have the whole thing all encompassed. And then I'm going to go to that mentor and say, listen, this is my problem. These are my potential solutions. I've thought through everything. Guide me on this. Because if they just come and they go, so how should I get more sales? I'll be like, read a freaking book. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to give you answers. I'm here to help you. And I don't want to put a mentor in that position where they feel that they're just like there to give me answers. Do your work, do your research, and come to them for advice.
Mm-hmm. I like the idea of coming to them with potential solutions for sure, right? And getting them to look at it. What about, I think that, maybe I'll just say this. I think that there's, like, with the mentors that I have, there's usually times where I'm like, are you available? I have a quick question. And I'm like, and then there's also times where I want to ask them, to lift the hood on some things I'm doing more on a strategic level.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah. So, asking them quick questions like, hey, I just got a sales pitch from this and this company. Do you know them? Are they any good? Should I waste my time? That's easy. That's fine, right? That's just a quick tip. Lifting the hood is also great as well, but you are participating in the lifting of the hood as well. You aren't just saying, hey, mentor, read my business plan and give me some input. You know what I mean? You're in there collaborating. This isn't a job for them. They're not getting paid for this, right? They're doing it because they want to help you. So you shouldn't be putting burdens on their shoulders. They're there to help you, and you've got to make it easy for them. So if they're lifting the hood, make sure you come with the hood already lifted so they can get down in there into all the grease traps.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm going to just take this over to back to like the finding of the mentor. What I have found has worked really well. A tip for people is to find those people that seem to be they really understand what you're doing and believe in you. And so, they've offered, their thoughts before, or you can just tell they're sort of a fan, or, bought into what you're doing, and make sure they really understand what you're doing, and then ask them further, for their support and advice on, like, what might I be missing or whatever. But I really think it starts with identifying people that are already bought into your vision and mission. And there usually are people around you. And if there aren't, that's probably a red flag. You're not doing.
And they're bought into you, right? Like, I'm a musician. If I called up, Angus Young from AC/DC and said, hey, do you want to mentor me? He'd be like, who are you? Just because we're in the same industry and I'm further along than you, But like, if I'm hanging out with him and we're having drinks and beers and we get along and he believes in me and I believe in him, that will just flourish on its own.
Right. That flourishing is what you're looking for.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm in such a weird mood today.
One last thing I think is important to touch on that I actually think I heard from Simon Sinek recently is, because, he and I chat. He's one of my middle mentors. Just kidding. So that the mentor should get just as much or more than the mentee out of the relationship. And I often forget that when I'm the mentee, that I'm giving back to my mentor by asking for that advice and support and help that they're learning. And as a mentor myself to people, I love the opportunity. Oh, great. I better not say this out loud. All of a sudden everyone starts calling, hey, are you looking for some mentees? But I do love the opportunity to help people when it's a good fit and I believe in what they're doing. So it is nice to be able to give back and to learn as a mentor.
Beautiful. Let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Go be awesome. You didn't say it.